Okay, let's talk about how you're being used by the devil and you don't know. Or you think you're not, but you are. First things first is sin, okay? I don't really understand how, because it's such a double standard of people wanting to confess that this entire world is spiritual and people not wanting to come to the realization of a spirit being able to enter your body or manipulate you or influence you to do something that you would not usually do yourself. Okay, and your own human thinking and your own moral compass and beliefs and standpoints. And please, let's cut the double standard down. Okay, let's cut the one and a believe it here and not fully receive it on the other hand. Stop. Because bottom line, there's things that have come before us. Okay, things that have been on this earth before us, before our existence, humans. Okay, the heaven was made first. The spiritual realm was there first. Okay, so when I hear people talking about, oh yeah, well, we're spiritual beings, everybody's spiritual and, everything's spiritual. And so, okay, let me, all right, bring that up, right? All right. So everything's spiritual, but you don't want to agree or come to the acceptance of spirits being able to influence you in a direction that you would not usually move in yourself. So everything's spiritual, but spiritual to the limit that you set on it. How can you set a limit on something that existed before you? How can you spiritually manipulate something that existed before you? How? Like, I really want to know. Like, how? Because it ain't possible. So now back to what this is about. And if you see any clothes behind me, don't mind that. I did laundry and I did not clean off my bed. So influencing or being influenced, manipulated, used by the devil, all this stuff. And you don't know, or you just are in denial that you are, but you really are. And I'm referencing you being used by the devil with the child of God. So we're going to talk about it there. Also, I want to start off by saying I'm not talking about natural desires, humanly desires that we all have. I mean, somebody being demonically manipulated and they don't even know that they are being used by the devil, sent by the devil to affect your life or derail you or just anything. Okay. I guess I could start off by saying the devil infiltrates your flesh. Okay. Because there's no good thing in it. The works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envies, murder, drunkenness, revelries, and of the like. Of which I tell you beforehand, just as I told you in times past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. I'm bringing that scripture up as a foundation, okay? Because, of course, we know sin itself is an issue and only the Creator can tell us what is considered sin. But when somebody is really full of sin, and this, once again, don't have to do with falling into sin. This is a different topic, a different thing. Falling into sin don't mean you are, sinful. It's a difference. But someone bound by their sin is very able to be manipulated in assignment against the child of God who is actively pursuing or walking in the ways of Jesus Christ, or trying to, like I said, pursue that. So once again, I bring that up because, like Paul said, there's no good thing that dwells in this body. Okay, the flesh has nothing good in it. And this is why the devil is able to attach to something that is no good. Why? Because he has no light in him. That is the word. The fact that he has no light in him already, and the fact that our flesh has no light in it, okay, those two things are the things that are able to bind themselves together. This is also why Jesus Christ, okay, God had to give us a separate nature, which is why from the beginning of creation, he blew his breath into us, which is our spirit man. It goes to show that the spirit man has its own will, which comes from God. So God's will dwells in his spirit man. And once again, because there's no good thing in our flesh, the devil can partner with the no good thing to accomplish his will. So when I say you being manipulated or used or whatever by Satan to come against the child of God, or even people trying to pursue a relationship with Jesus Christ when they come to the truth, it is a very real thing. When you are under bondage, you cannot, or under grasp in bondage, you cannot understand that you are being used anyway. Like, for an example, someone's trying to come away from a certain sin, sexual immorality, or stripping, and then the same females, which is really not that, but the same females or the same spirit keeps trying. It's the same spirit, like I said, right? Not the females, because we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. It's against powers, principalities, spiritual hosts, the high wickedness, all that. So yeah, you trying to step outside of something. But this goes back to my main point that I made in the beginning. Stop trying to classify things as everything being spiritual. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you want to be like, oh, well, I pick and choose when it's spiritual. I pick and choose what degree it's spiritual to. No, that's not how this works. This is not how that works. And it's also not up to humans as to what is considered wicked or a demon or an angel. It's not up to us. You have to understand, I don't even understand how human beings really think in a mind that was given to them by a supernatural being. You can come in and try to set spiritual law into play when it existed before you. I'm baffled. I'm confused. Where does this work? How do you do that? How are you trying to set something into motion by you're bound to time and space? So you telling me something bound to time, space is able to bind something, give it a rest. The only way we're able to bind, loose, is when we're walking with Jesus Christ and we arrest things in the spiritual realm so things don't come forth, or things do come forth. We have the keys. God has given us the keys to bind and loose things. Outside of Jesus Christ, I don't know what you think you're doing. So on that regard, it goes back to what I'm talking about. Sin, the child of God, okay? I just, Lord have mercy. I want you to think about situations and let's be honest, because I guess I'm talking to multiple people right here. If you are somebody who's watched somebody come out of the lifestyle that they once partnered with you in while they were living in sin, and you watch them walk away from this lifestyle and give their life to Christ, and you're literally trying to pull on them to try to come back, or pull on them to try to get them to smoke again, pull them to try to get them to have sex with you again, pull on them to try to, you pulling on their flesh once again. And the only person who do that is the devil. Okay, the only person who do that is the devil. The devil will pull on the child of God's flesh to get them to transgress against God, break covenant, break they communion with his law. You feel me? To come out of they covenant with God and partner with him again. So if you think that this person came away and you pulling on them is just, oh, I'm doing this in my own will and in my own strength, you're not doing it in your own strength. So what I want you to do is challenge the people. Listen, I'm gonna challenge you. You see someone pull away from you, because a lot of people getting saved, a lot of people come to the knowledge of the truth, okay? And if you see that happen, just let them walk away. But I bet you it will be something inside of you that's just pulling on this person, just wanting to pull on this person. If they come around you again, you're going to want to smoke a blunt with them again. You're going to want them to come out back outside to the club with you again. You're going to want them to start towing again. You're going to want them to start being on the corner again. You feel me? It's just certain things. And this is the thing, when you're bound to sin, when you come out of covenant with darkness, this is when, like it says, where the Spirit of God is, there's freedom, okay? There is not freedom when this person is bound to what they're doing and they know they in this spot in their lives and they struggling with depression. They struggling with suicide. They struggling with addiction. You feel me? This is heavy stuff. And then when God come into play, when his covenant starts becoming active in their lives, this is when a change starts taking place. But you want to pull them away from the same thing that set them free. You going to tell me that's not the devil? Can we get a moment of silence? Please. I'm just wondering. Moment of silence. Okay. I'm probably going to elaborate on this a little bit more, but it's literally a fact. If you see somebody pull away and you're trying to reel them back in to the lifestyle that they already told you they not even turning back to, the devil is using you, and the devil's also deceiving you, because the devil can only use somebody who is in bondage. And it does not mean complete bondage, because somebody can be oppressed in a certain area of their lives and that is bondage. This is why there can be walking witches, blind witches. People don't know they witches, but they're blind. They're blindly walking, because that's another story. But listen, bottom line is, and I'm going to do probably another video on this, but it's stop. Cut it out. For the people you seeing who might be around you who's coming to Christ And I'm not saying coming to a religion, a relationship with Jesus Christ. Let them do that in peace. Let them pursue their freedom in peace. Stop trying to derail them. And if you think you're not, you are.